Hello, how you doing? Third Romanian wine on the go. This time I've decided to go for a very, very pretty rosé. It's called the Lauri Cuvee Rosa. Um, no, no international Italian powerhouses behind this one. Um, this particular estate, the Alieri estate, a little bit further to the where were we before? The Mare, a little bit further to the south. This one's still down in the southwest, by the banks of the old Danube River. Um, this is a project made from the passions of a local businessman who I'm going to check his name, Dr. Karl Hauptmann. I apologise if I murdered that with my pronunciation, and Mark Dwoka, who is a sort of consultant, enologist, and general well-to-do wine chap. He's worked consultancy for I think about the last 13 years. This was a project he picked up about a decade ago, along with Bessa wine from Bulgaria and nine steps, who are actually a Chinese winery. So exciting stuff. This is a mixture of some international grape varieties as well as going back to the Fatiesca Niagara, the Black Maiden, but it is 60% Cabernet Sauvignon, 30% Merlot, and 10% Fatiesca. So you've got three very dark grapes there, and the grapes themselves are actually left to macerate on the skins for about 4 days, which is why you get this beautiful dark colour. This, honestly, I will do something to sort the lighting, but you can't see. Check the Instagram feed for a picture of this because it's beautiful. Now, what you generally find, what I'm really trying to stress in this one, this video about Romania, is the sheer breadth of grapes you can get there, and the reason for that is there's a huge amount of sort of volcanic, mountainous activity. You've got loads of fairly substantial rivers. The topography is fairly undulating, so essentially you're getting a lot of different soils and rocks and minerals and elements being hurled around, and left in deposits, in little pockets all over the place. And this one, just south of Dobroge, is no different. So predominantly a limestone, kind of, it's a fairly salty topsoil, but a limestone sort of bedrock. But you've got lots of pockets of clay and sand lows, which are essentially, as well, pockets of soil that have been transported elsewhere, either by gravity or water or clouds or whatever, and left somewhere. And essentially, it's sand, clay, limestone. That's France, isn't it? Pretty much in terms of terroir. So you can start using grapes that are big in France, like Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, not so much Fatiesca Niagara. I doubt you'd find that in any appellation rules, but it allows you to start playing around with these grapes, and they're gonna. It's good for a couple of reasons. One, it adds sort of marketing power to your. You can go, look, I've got Cabernet Sauvignon. People go, where's it from? And you go, it's a Cabernet Sauvignon. You're gonna love it, and it allows you to play around with some classic flavors that people are going to latch onto. So if I took this to a blind rosé tasting, doesn't happen very often, no one's going to guess it's Romanian, but people will go, oh, I recognize those flavors, or even if I don't recognize them, to put a name to them, there's something about them that I'm relating to. So I'm accepting this product, and if given the option, I might go and buy this kind of product. So Romania, it's not a cynical move because it makes good wine. It just happens to work in a business sense as well. So the Lauri, which is the range of wines from this particular producer, from which this rosé comes. That's a terrible sentence. It's like their easy drinking, everyday. This wine is for everyone. Section. So they do a premium, a super premium, a difficult, i.e., challenging wines, and then they do this for the idiots, which is great. Now it's really odd. Now, if I said to you Cabernet Sauvignon, you're thinking blackcurrant straight away, black dark cherry, black pungent fruit, right? And Merlot, again, sort of black plums, black cherries, red cherry maybe, but this This is strawberries all the way through. A little bit of rose. It's got like that kind of Turkish delight kind of rose hip kind of smell, but it's really kind of primary and in your face. It's not hugely aromatic, but once the flavors there are very bold, very strident. Okay, so on the palate, again, huge amounts of strawberries, raspberry. Cabernet Sauvignon acidity is kicking in. You get a little bit of tropical fruit and like an apple tartaric acid is where you get the word tart from. It gives you that kind of reaction, and it's present in the apples, in the skins of green apples, right? And that kind of tart, appley kind of flavour carries everything in this wine along. So essentially, you've got a rosé made with grapes that are well known for being black and dark and made for red, tasting like a white wine with strawberries in it. Right, okay. Having said that, it is delicious. Now, it's also 2013, so it's had, I don't know if you can see that there. It's had a couple of years in bottle to sort of develop and get a little bit more interesting. Now, I would argue that if you know that you are a bad, terrible person for drinking Zinfandel Rosé, and you are, and you want to go on to more grown-up stuff, Provence Rosé makes you feel like you're losing your tongue in its acidity. That is a cracking way to go, because you could track down South African Cinsault, you could track down Tavel. I'm only joking. You'd hate Tavel, or you could go for something like this. Now, again, much like the other ones, I've never seen this in a shop. I don't know where on earth you'd buy it in the UK. All I can say is that I hope that my tiny contribution to the cause helps get Romanian wines here. As I've said before, they're the 7th largest producer in the world, but they're still a net importer of wine because the vast majority of the stuff they buy is made by the Romanian equivalent of Bob and Margaret in their local shed and flogged on the side of the M5. The Romanian equivalent of the M5. Anyway, so really primary fruit, loads of strawberries and rose hip and cherry and raspberry, less cherry now I think about it. Definitely something to look into. Now, I encourage every one of you, every single one of you that watches this, drink more rosé. It's a wonderful wine. If it's done properly, it's glorious. It feels like a red. It's got the lightness of a white. What's not to love, Go and just have a play. When the sun comes out, have a play. But for now, that's the Lauri. I think I've got another red, 2 reds and a white, so I'll do another red next, and I'll probably do that over the next couple of days. But here we go. So, Lauri 2013 Cuvee Rosa. Once again, courtesy of the very kind folks over at Gem Wines. Check them out on their Facebook page. Cheers.